And welcome back to shed more light on the issue, how Egypt is having alternatives for the oil and gas, as of course the Strait of Hormuz is creating a problem for the oil market in the whole world. To shed more light, we are very much delighted to be joined here in the studio by our very dear guest, Dr. Mohamed Atia, our energy expert. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us.
Thank you.
Dr. Atia, in light of course, the mounting risks that is existing around the Strait of Hormuz, how does Egypt demonstrate the proactive leadership in securing the alternative and more reliable regional energy routes from your point of view?
In the light of the war of US and Iran, yes. We would like to explore what happened in the oil and gas market before around 50 days before the war. The oil and gas market was stable, and our energy bill was under control and within the budget limit.
Indeed.
And all the importing countries haven't any issue regarding the oil and gas. Once the war started, the oil and gas prices have been increased heavily around, when we would like to mention the increase of the oil prices. The oil barrel was around $70 per barrel. Today the oil barrel cost is around 120.
Yes, indeed. US dollars. Yes.
Yeah. This affected directly on the energy bill.
Indeed.
Especially for the oil and gas importing countries. This issue regarding the oil and gas and the main contributor of the war, and especially targeting the oil facilities and gas facilities, makes the scene was became very critical and very obvious to. I would like to mention that the uncertainty level of the oil and gas sector and the oil and gas prices volatility have been increased, and the uncertainty cost is different when we are talking about the energy sector and the oil and gas sector. Egypt did some proactive actions and actions regarding the replacing the importing oil coming from the Strait of Hormuz, or the Gulf countries passing through Strait of Hormuz.
Yes.
We would like to take one example, substituting the Kuwait oil by the Libyan oil, which is recently happened.
Yes.
Kuwait is an exporting country which export to our country around 1 to 2 million barrel per month. We are substituting this quantity from Libya.
Yes.
Libya is a great partner with Egypt. Egypt is playing a critical role regarding the international relations between Egypt and Libya, and this is an previous example what international relations affect for all sectors, especially in energy sector. When we are searching about a cheaper exporter for the oil, we found that Libya is the first and visible country to get the residual gap between the demand and the production of the oil.
Yes. To what extent, Doctor, does Egypt pivotal role towards its neighboring countries and partners is reflecting long-term strategic vision actually for its economy and preventing and protecting its economy from any external shocks and of course from shocks regarding the repercussions of regional crises or international crises?
For the last years, Egypt, as I said, is playing an important role in stabilizing the neighborhood countries around Egypt. For example, Libya, Egypt is playing, I think, the most important role is trying to stabilize what happened in Libya. I'd like to mention that Libya has one of the most of the highest oil reserves, around 48 billion barrel for the reserve of Libya, which is, I think, one of the most important countries in Africa. But the instability in Libya has affected on the oil production. What Egypt did last days or last weeks is the cooperation between Egypt and Libya give like a message to the international community that Libya is going to be a stable country which is able to be an important exporter for the oil. Libya is producing around 1.2 million barrels per day, which is a huge amount.
Yes, indeed.
And Egypt will play another important role when the collaboration between Egypt and Libya will be enhanced and will be developed. This cooperation will not stopping in like exporting or importing oil in a critical situation.
Yes, of course.
I think it will be exceeding this situation and will be like extra benefits from two sides. I think it is a win-win situation from our side and the Libyan side.
Indeed. Sir, how does this approach actually reinforce Egypt's role as stabilizing anchor in an increasingly volatile regional energy landscape?
Egypt is like playing another role which is investing in its infrastructure. The special equipment in Egypt and the special infrastructure in Egypt is very critical in this region because Egypt has a different kind of infrastructure. The petroleum ports, the pipeline of the gas and the liquid or the crude oil, and the storage tanks and the liquefaction facilities. All of this important benefits and important infrastructure could be like the middle of the center of the hub of the energy in the region.
Yes.
Especially that Egypt is not a net exporter for the oil or the gas. It is still importer. Egypt is producing around 500,000 barrels per day.
Yes.
And its need or its demand is around 800 or 860,000 barrels per day. This could affect on the importing bill and the importing cost. But the infrastructure of Egypt, like refineries, oil refineries in Egypt, could support Libyan country and Libyan energy sector by importing the Libyan oil and producing the final products and to be used in Egypt or extra export to Europe. And the location of Egypt between Africa and Europe will play an important role in this regard. I'd like also to support my statement that Algeria also is an important gas producer, and the facilities of Egypt regarding the gas processing or the gas liquefaction will support the Algerian development in the gas sector.
Indeed. Doctor, of course, we have been talking here about the cooperation between Egypt and Libya regarding the oil that we are going to import from our Libyan neighbors. How do expanding the energy ties between Egypt and Libya reflect Cairo's ability actually to turn the geographic proximity into strategic advantage? And as you have kindly mentioned, that even after this crisis, we would be continuing to cooperate with Libya in this domain in particular. So how do you see our cooperation here and this advantage that we did get, or we did have?
In my opinion, we can divide the cooperation to like 3 stages. The first stage, which is a short-term stage, is what happened today is confirming importing like 1 or 1.2 million barrel per month. I think this is the first step, and continuing this step successfully in the technical perspective and the economic perspective will will be the base of this cooperation.
Yes.
The second stage, which is medium range or medium scale of time, which is investing in the oil production in Libya. Yeah. Once Egypt is supporting Libya by importing the oil from it, it could give like a stable community and a stable environment for the investment. Yeah. This investment, once be increased, the production of the oil in Libya will be increased, and this affect directly on the economy of Libya, and this affect directly on the stability of Libya. Yeah. This is the medium stage, is investing in the oil in Libya. The third stage, which is a long-term stage, is using the extra or the full capacity of the oil, the Libyan oil, to be processed or to be exporting to Europe through our facilities. So the first is importing oil from Libya. The second is investing in the Libyan oil. The third is trying to use the refined products to be traveled or to be transported to European countries, which is, I think, win-win situation, as I said.
Yes, indeed. Could this cooperation serve as a model actually for pragmatic, interest-based collaboration across the whole of North Africa?
I think this collaboration is a special one because when we check the map and found Egypt beside Libya, beside Algeria, and beside Tunisia, I think these 4 countries aren't collaborating as much as they can. The 4 countries have many and different facilities and many and different resources, and what decreasing or de-accelerating this collaboration, only the stability in the region and the geopolitical issues which has happened in this region. I think it is directly affecting this collaboration. But in sometimes the conflict or the critical time will give us signal for extra collaboration, as happened today, and this could be happened also when all the countries and example European countries or Asian countries transforming their vision of their strategies from importing the oil and gas from the Gulf to other and another region and other countries. I think this happened in our case. Transforming the importing the oil importing from the Gulf and to check it or import it from the neighborhood countries, I think will be, as I said before, the base of this collaboration.
Yes, sir. Doctor, how does Egypt's actually diversification of its source of energy contribute to shielding its economy from such global oil price volatility and, of course, the instability of the oil market and prices?
We could talk about the two sources of energy, the oil and gas.
Yeah.
The oil, we are importing from different countries and from different regions. We are importing from the Gulf, like Kuwait and Qatar, and the oil, Kuwait and Saudi Arabia.
From Gulf states.
From Gulf countries, and also from Russia. The Russian oil, especially after removing the sanctions currently, we are importing the Russian oil.
Yes.
And as you see, and our followers have been seeing the meeting between the president of Russia and the Minister of Foreign,
Dr. Badr
Abdel-Ati, and the President Putin said that we will support Egypt in the energy sector, and we will support them in the oil and the new energy and nuclear power plants.
Yes.
This is one of the main diversifying sources from the oil side. From the gas side, we are importing from Qatar, from Gulf countries, states also, like Qatar, but also we already before the conflict importing the gas from US. And this diversification of the oil and gas supply is one of the main important pillars of the energy security, because it affects directly on the availability and the price. Once you can, as a country, diversify your sources, diversify your partners, you can you can live with a higher energy security level.
Yes. Also, since Doctor, you have mentioned, of course, our cooperation with Russia. We are cooperating with Russia also in the building and, of course, in Al Daba nuclear plant. So, how do you see such cooperation and, of course, our long-term strategy of also introducing and depending to a great extent on the renewable energy as well?
As we mentioned, that diversifying the oil and gas resources is one of the most important pillars in the energy security. Also, diversifying the energy sources and diversifying the renewable energy sources is one of the new trend energy security pillars. We are targeting around 42% from the energy mix by renewable energy by around 2035 or 2040. And this kind of diversifying and this kind of energy source is like supporting the energy stability in Egypt, because the fossil fuels and the gas are volatile components, and using it without diversifying in nuclear, or investing in nuclear energy, or investing in the new trend energies like solar and wind energy is becoming less security and less lower level of energy security. So the nuclear power plant in Daba is supporting Egypt with like 4.8 gigawatt.
Yes.
And this is around 15% of energy demand in Egypt. And this kind of project is not familiar in this time and this period, because it is a huge project. So entering this project and finalizing this project in this tough time is a challenging target. So what happened and what has been said by President Putin, that Russia will continue supporting the project to be ended and continue supporting Egypt in the gas field or the renewable energy field, is like a protective layer for the energy security in Egypt. So on the other hand, supporting the solar energy and the wind energy to increase the renewable energy percentage in the energy mix in Egypt is also a challenging target. But fortunately, the gap between the visibility of the renewable energy cost and the fossil fuels cost now is high because of the gas and oil volatility prices. So I think that the solar energy and wind energy currently is attractive and visible and raise like a red flag that focusing or depending on the fossil fuels in this world in the current situation is very critical.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Mohamed Atia, our energy expert, thank you so much, sir, for being our guest for tonight. It was a real pleasure. Thank you so much. And with that, we come to the end of this edition of our daily debate. Till tomorrow with another crew. Many thanks for watching.